Hi and welcome to OptimumTV. I'm Stephen Adams, and today I'm joined by Miquel Vila, co-founder and CEO of Splice Bio, and Daniela Begolo, who's managing director at EQT Life Sciences. Hi both.
Hi.
Hello.
So Splice Bio has just secured $135 million in a Series B financing to advance its lead program, SB007, in Stargardt disease, and to expand its pipeline of genetic medicines. So, Miquel, there are lots of companies which are targeting Stargardt, which is a genetically driven eye disease. What marks out your approach from the competition?
Yes, so what differentiates us is our approach based on protein splicing. As you mentioned, Stargardt disease is a retinal disease which is caused by mutations in a very large gene, ABCA4. So traditional approaches based on gene therapy are not suitable for this gene. So what we do is we can split the gene into fragments, deliver each of these fragments using an AAV vector, and then inside the cells of the patients, our technology allows us to put them back so that we can generate the full-length ABCA4 that you need to treat those patients. So this allows us to address the root cause of the disease, and at the same time enables us to treat all patients regardless of the specific mutations that they have.
That sounds like an amazing piece of technology. Daniela, if I can bring you in, please. EQT Life Sciences has just participated in this $135 million round. It's a buyer's market in biotech right now, and you must have lots and lots of companies beating down your doors, asking for cash. What made you go for Splice Bio?
Well, there's always a lot of companies that are coming to us for an investment. But there's fundamentally a few different topics that we always focus on, right? Is the technology good enough, really exciting and innovative, and the data with data supporting it? Is the commercial case there for the company with the investment setup that makes sense? And are there really a development plan that is solid and can really lead the company to a value inflection point with a team that can support this? So I don't know if Miquel remembers, but when we met a couple of years ago, I told him, I'm not really convinced about a dual AAV approach, but I'm always open to be convinced. And in this case, Miquel and the team managed to convince us that all those topics are actually covered and exciting.
Okay. And if we think about Splice Bio and your investment in Splice Bio, are you investing primarily in its lead program, SB007 for Stargardt? Obviously, lots of investors now are looking for assets which are, if you like, further down the line. Or are you more interested in its innovative platform and its potential to expand what it's doing in other indications?
Well, we came to Splice Bio and really starting the assessment on the investment based on our landscaping in the genetic medicine and Stargardt space. So in the genetic medicine, we've been observing a bit of a downturn on interest from investors and some challenges from the clinic. However, we thought that was an opportunity, especially if you can focus on a very commercially meaningful case like Stargardt. That was really our first step in towards Splice. However, we would not have been convinced if the technology, the intent platform was not really exciting. And of course, for the potential it has far beyond Stargardt.
Okay, and Miquel, if I can turn back to you now. You've got this $135 million in the bank, so to speak. What are you going to do with it, and how far do you think it's going to take you in terms of development and runway?
Yeah. So this funding really allows us to move forward our lead program, SB07, as you mentioned, for Stargardt disease. It will allow us to fund an ongoing observational study that we already have, which is the Polaris study, and also to support the development of the phase 1/2 interventional trial, the Astra study, which we started also earlier this year. We announced the treatment of the first patient in the first quarter of this year. And the goal is to really generate robust clinical data on both safety and efficacy in those programs, which enables us to make informed decisions towards late development and to take these therapies into patients. As Daniela was mentioning, also this technology allows us to apply it and develop gene therapies beyond Stargardt. So we also will use some of the funding to actually accelerate the development of our pipeline and work on programs in ophthalmology as well as neurology and potentially beyond those therapeutic areas as well.
Okay, and you've got a lot going on. You've got a fantastic syndicate of investors who have now invested in Splice Bio. How did you attract them? And for companies out there which are perhaps not in such a fortunate position as you now, Do you have any tips for them in terms of approaching investors, getting their interest and securing the money?
Well, I think in our case, and Daniela was mentioning some of these things earlier, I think it came down to basically three things: having a very strong team with a proven track record of being able to deliver with the utmost quality and within timelines and budgets. Also, the fact that we have a first-in-class differentiated therapy for a clear unmet need indication such as Stargardt, which is also backed by a strong preclinical package, which got clearance from both the FDA and the MHRA, and also the fact that we have this technology which we can apply beyond Stargardt. In terms of tips to others, I think everyone has to do their own path, but I think for us it was important that we consider investors as true partners, and we strive to have very open, proactive communication and trying to being honest about progress, but also challenges, because we're trying to build here a real partnership. And I think that was also, that would be a tip for other people raising money, to think about investors as true partners, and again, being open and honest about everything that's going on in the company. But, I'd be interested to know what Daniela, from the investor perspective, how they saw this.
Well, I think what needs to be said here is that the Splice Bio team has been extremely, and very well ahead of time compared to when they were supposed to raise the funding. Really proactive, really open, really also willing to discuss in detail their data and their plans. And that really has built trust over time, which you truly need when you want to make a large investment. And then, of course, once both us and Sanofi Ventures had decided to move forward, that was really what I would consider teamwork. Not many people think about teamwork when you think about a syndicate of different investors and a company with maybe a lot of different ideas around the table. But I can truly say here, as Sanofi Ventures, Miquel, but also all the existing investors really work together to make sure to really attract the best syndicate possible, to make sure that every topic, even the challenging one, were really discussed with constructiveness and openness, and really trying to find solutions and not to really stick to one side or the other. So it's really about having a company that really is very thoughtful and proactive, and then works very openly with the investors to make sure things go in the right direction.
Super. Miquel Vila of Splice Bio and Daniela Begolo of EQT Life Sciences, thanks very much for joining me on OptimumTV.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Thanks for having us. It was great.